Social media has become a must for any business that wants to succeed today, and it's the perfect tool for new designers to post their work and get discovered. We all know how to use social media, we do it literally every day, but how can we stand out in a massive sea of people who are trying to do just the same? Ciao besties, welcome back to my channel. Yes, I'm back! After a longish break, I am so happy to talk to you guys again. If this is your first time here, you might be thinking, what is she talking about? Well, in that case, my name is Viviana and I'm a graphic designer specialized in brand design. I've been designing my whole life, it feels like, but I've been running my business for almost a year now. You might know me from Instagram. I have a growing community there, and that is exactly why I'm making this video today. I started my page from scratch all on my own, and I managed to create a community and a business in just a year. With social media being extremely accessible for anyone today, it has become a little bit of a challenge to stand out, but it's not impossible, and I have a few tips that I've used myself that I want to share with you today. But before doing that, if you find this video helpful in any way, make sure to subscribe to the channel or just like the video. Anything helps, so thank you so much if you do that. Alright, let's start with tip number 1: personal branding. People need to know who you are. They need to understand what you do as soon as they stumble upon your page. People connect with other people, so the more of yourself you put into your own branding, the more people are gonna connect with you and hit that follow button to stick around and see what you do next. If you don't have a personal branding, then people are not gonna remember you or recognize you. They might appreciate your work, but as soon as they keep scrolling, your name will just fade away with the rest if you don't give them that something to remember you by. And I know that this sounds like a huge deal, like, oh my god, how do I do that? Who am I? But it really isn't. I'm a big believer that your personal branding shouldn't be that complicated. It should actually be simpler than the kind of work that you do, because if you go all in, then you risk following trends too much, and then you would have to rebrand like constantly, which is almost as bad as having no branding at all. So take a little time and try to figure out how to put yourself and your style into your own branding, especially if you're a brand designer. But even if you're not, personal branding is the perfect way to show people what you can do and put that into practice. You won't need to say, hey, I'm good at design, hire me. They will just see that. If you're capable of creating an impressive brand design for yourself, then of course you'll be able to do that for other businesses. And this applies to other kinds of design, for example, web design. If I want to hire someone to build my website, I expect them to have an incredible and well-constructed website. Don't just say what you can do, show it. However, when you're building your personal brand, the what shouldn't be the only thing that you should focus on. There's also the why, and that's when you come in. If you want to stand out, don't chase trends or do what you think people want you to do, because that might work for a while, but it's not gonna last. You need to let people understand who you are, what drives you, why they should take time out of their day to look at your work, listen to what you have to say, or trust you with their business. And that actually brings me to tip number 2. Find your own voice. There are so many different ways to run a business and be a designer online. Some have a personal brand, like me for example. Others run agencies. Some like to write long captions, others like to jump on a camera and talk to people directly. There isn't just one correct way of doing this. You just have to find the right way for you to connect with your audience and show them who you are. At the end of the day, let's be honest, we are all just talking about the same things over and over again most of the time. So the key here is to take those ideas and put out content that truly feels like you, using your own voice. If people connect with your style of communication, then every time they need some information, they will come to you. You will be that person that they go to. And that's ultimately what you want. And being yourself is the only way to succeed at this. I know that it sounds scary because you're putting yourself out there with your work, but look at all the content creators that you like and that you enjoy watching. What are they doing? And again, being who you are online doesn't mean doing what I'm doing right now. You don't have to show your face at all if you don't want to. I know a lot of incredibly successful designers who don't show their face that much or talk to the camera at all. If you like writing, for example, maybe starting a blog or a newsletter might be the correct way for you to share some experiences and let people in. Something that only you can do because it comes from you. Does that that make sense? But let's say you've done all of these things and you still don't see any growth or change. You might be thinking, well, someone is lying to me. But let me ask you this. Do you have a content strategy? If your answer is no, you're gonna want to hear about tip number 3. Develop a content strategy. Wow. The type of things that you post on your page matter so much when you're trying to build an identity online. If your content is all over the place and there's no consistency, then people are gonna be just as confused as you probably are. And I'm not even saying that what you're currently posting isn't good or valuable, but if there's no structure to it, then you're not gonna stand out in people's minds. At the end of the day, that is what we're talking about, standing out. You need to understand the type of content that you're gonna post. Do you want to just post your work, or maybe share some behind the scenes content? Or maybe you want to make educational content and teach people something. Maybe you could do tutorials. Or do you want to focus on the business side of things? Do you want to talk about client work, how to run your business? There's so many things that you could do, but you need to let your audience understand what it is exactly that you do and give them a reason to follow you. So, write down some content pillars and figure out what you want to say and how. Of course, especially for the beginning of your journey, give yourself some time to try stuff out, because you cannot have everything figured out at the beginning if you don't try stuff first. Explore different types of content and see how your audience responds to these different types of content. Sometimes it takes a little bit to find your rhythm, and that is perfectly fine. Let's take me as an example. I mostly post about my work and behind the scene content on how I make this work. But once a week, I post educational content. It could be about running my business or working with clients, or it could be a tutorial on how to do a certain thing on Illustrator or Photoshop. Either way, my audience knows that day of the week, I'm gonna share some valuable information or resources with them. They expect it now. And of course, I also have this YouTube channel to support my position as someone who provides educational content. These are basically the two things that I'm most known for. But it most certainly wasn't always like this. In the past, I tried a different format for my content, more similar to TikTok. Lip syncing to a trending audio and sharing some information or talking about a relatable situation. The reel actually did pretty well and it got me a lot of engagement, but it didn't feel right. And I tried that for a little bit longer on TikTok and I still got that feeling, so I just stopped. If I posted something like this today, I'm sure that my audience would be like, oh, okay. Like, the content could even do well, but I know that is not the reason why people follow me. I know that is not why they come to me, Having a defined content strategy also connects with finding your own voice in a way. It's all about creating a structure that works for you and that people can recognize. I understand that coming up with content ideas constantly can be difficult. For this reason exactly, I created a list of 50 content ideas that you can download for free on my new designer shop. These ideas can be used for both Instagram and TikTok, or literally any platform, honestly. And you will also find some tips on how to make that content based on the platform that you choose. You can find all the details in the first link in my description. With all that being said, my last tip is actually optional, or maybe advanced. Let's say advanced. Something that you can think about in the future, but that is still worth mentioning. Find your thing. Let me explain. What is the best way of standing out if not having your own specific thing that nobody else has except for you? It can literally be anything as long as it connects you with your community. Some people create challenges for their followers, others choose a day of the week to talk about a specific topic, or they focus on a skill that they have and they make it their thing. If you have an original idea that you think can be valuable and you haven't seen anyone do it in the way that you want to do it, go for it. Because nowadays it's pretty rare to find something that hasn't been done before. And whenever somebody finds someone new, it's so refreshing for the community and it definitely makes them stand out. Of course, although all of this sounds very nice, it's not that easy. That is why this tip is optional. It takes time to find your thing, and sometimes it's not even up to you. It's your audience that decides, and you can either lean into it or not. But I wanted to mention this anyway because I feel like it's pretty much the culmination of everything that we have talked about so far. If you have a strong visual identity and you know what to communicate to your audience and how to do that, then your thing will find you. Even in the smallest way, you will be that person that people go to for that specific type of content. There's one last thing that I want to add, because I feel like like it's essential to have this mindset if you want to be someone who works on social media. The internet is full of people who are trying to do the same exact thing as you are. But that doesn't mean that you should see everyone as competition. I mean, they can be, especially when it comes to client work, but there is room for everybody. Just because someone is successful, it doesn't mean that you can be successful too. Don't get intimidated by other people's journey. Don't compare yourself to others, because you are on your own journey, and that is the only thing that should matter. If you see everyone and everything as competition, you will be miserable. Supporting your fellow designers and embracing your community will be so beneficial for you as a person, as a business owner, as a designer, and it would also bring in so many more people. It will allow you to create a community. That is the secret, you guys. You've heard it here. Just be you and your people will find you. All right, that is enough talking for today. Yes, I'm sick. I hope you find this video helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any more tips on how to stand out on social media. The more the better. There is no gatekeeping here on this channel. I have blabbed about Instagram for however long this video is gonna be. So if you want to see how I put into practice my own advice, then follow me on Instagram at viviana.graphics. That is my main platform, but I'm also growing a little community on TikTok too, so I would love to see you there. Oh my god, of course, go and have a look at my new website, which was the reason why I was gone for so long, and go and download all the freebies from my shop. What else? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that stuff that YouTube loves. And if you're new to design and you have no clue what your design style is, then check out this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you again in another video next week. Ciao!